Hello lovely, and welcome to my March diary update. What have I been doing in March? It's been quite a busy month with miniature things, and let me take you through and show you what I've been up to. And then at the end of the video, please stay around. At the end of the video I will tell you what I'm going to be doing in April, because I could do with some accountability. Talk to you in a minute. I finished the workbench in Madame Ruth's. Very pleased with that. I just need to put the container underneath the counter there that contains all the bottles. But I've got a good bit of mess, and there's a teaspoon on there. Very pleased with that. I've also got some gorgeous little crystal balls. These are rose quartz and amethyst and blue lace agate, and they're absolutely divine. And these are, some of them, not all of them, are going into my Etsy store. I went to Miniatura and got loads of scrummy yummy goodies. Kitchen chaos. I've been fishing out all the bits and pieces that are going to be going into the kitchen. Yes, lots of wine bottles there. They're not all going in the kitchen, as it were, but they are sort of beverage items. So I've got the skirtings to do in there, and I've got to make the sink and the worktops in there. That's going to happen another day. I can't finish the skirtings till I've worked out what I'm doing at the back there with the sink and everything. I've done the lounge in Maggie's. Absolutely delighted with this. I've done the chimney breast. Yes, I've got a little crease in my paper there, but that will get covered over by all sorts of things. I used the original stove that came with the house, just sort of, you know, to honour the previous owners. And I used some blue and white paper for the tiles behind the wood stove. And I made this chimney breast out of foam board covered in wallpaper lining paper. But I say it does have a crinkle in there, but I have to learn to live with that. It won't notice later on. And look at this bureau. Isn't this fantastic? Now, I bought this as an unpainted item, and I stained it initially with mahogany stain. And you know what, these items, I'm not sure what wood they're made out of, but they just don't take the stain terribly well. Well, they take it, but it doesn't give it much substance. So I've painted this in a mixture of some brown paint and red paint. I wanted it to look a really rich mahogany. And yes, I've got the little knob there to put in there, and I've got all sorts of things to go up in the cabinet, so you'll see that in future videos. If I show you these two together next to each other, this is just the wood stain, and it's really quite disappointing. This is paint, acrylic paint on it, and it's nice and varied and a bit splodgy to give it a bit of a wood grain. And I've used the same varnishy kind of finish, the Liquitex finish that I use on everything that I've got, because I've got to use it up. So I think what I'm going to be doing at some point in the future is I'm going to be going over this and painting this. I'll have to sand it down first to take off the varnish finish, but I'm just really quite disappointed. But anyway, that's for another day. I've also got a dark wood sideboard, which again I've painted, and that's in a plain dark brown, Van Dyke brown maybe. So when I've decided quite where the furniture is going to go, and this lamp here that's wired into the back of the house, then I can put on the back skirting board, but I can't put that on until I've figured out about the light. And here I'm going to, I think I'm going to have a piano. So I think that's going to go there with some Elton John specs on the top. And this table here, this is again a bare wood table which I bought. I've got something very similar, well the same, except for it's painted white in Ashton Place. And in Ashton Place I did some acetate on the top to make it look like a glass finish. This is just going to have lots of plants on it, and it's somewhere to, the games will be stashed under there maybe. I've got a Monopoly and a Mr. Potato Head, because what do you play when you're having a few drinks? Mr. Potato Head. Well, does in my world sometimes. Well, did, not anymore. And this was a bare wood table, and I decided to do the bottom half gold, and then that is just light oak on the top. It'll look nicer when it's sitting on its rug. So I've got to do curtains for here. Not quite sure what fabric I'm going to do that. I have to go back to check my plans. And look, we have cut the holes in the frontage for, this is going to be the roof for Maggie's. So Paul helped me with a jigsaw to cut the holes for the dormers. And I've got 3 dormers like this. They did come with the sort of the roof tile paper already on. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that, if I'm going to paint it or go over it. So I've got 3 of these. So I want to paint those in the same colourways as the front of the windows of the windows on the front of Maggie May's. And this is the paper that I've got, which it's embossed tile effect, or slate effect actually, grey, and it's called Embossed Old Dark Roof Slates. So you can see they've got a few cracks and they've got some moss looking on them. I just think that's really effective, really like that. So the roof is going to be covered in that. So for April, and you are my accountability buddies, this Maggie May's Emporium is going to have the roof on. So I've got it all cut out. I need to paint it, and the dormers. The dormers, let me show you the dormers again. Lots of detail on those. They're going to be painted inside and out. Glaze them and everything. Roof done, roof paper on, all of that. Doesn't have a chimney. Might make a chimney, might not, don't know. And make the curtains, and then the dormers are done. It is only going to be a hinge lid, so I don't want everything flapping around, so the curtains will be stuck in place. So that is my #1 priority, is to get that done and keep all the dust and everything out, because I can't really dress these rooms until they're a bit dust free. And then I can do the skirting in the lounge once I know exactly where that lamp is going to go. I've got to pull it all out, have a look at the wiring, how much length of flex I've got to play with for that lamp, and then I can decide where the lamp is going to go. Then I can start dressing the lounge. I want to start making some plants. I want to play with making plants now I've got the die cutter and stuff. And I realise I have got masses of little bits and pieces of doll's house stuff, things that I bought at last year's Miniatura that haven't actually found a home yet. So I would really like to get all of those in place and just see what I've got, because I know I've got some kitchen, like, you know, fish slicers and spoons and things, and I feel that they need some handles making, little bits and pieces like that. So I would like to get those all done, and then I can start putting them in my houses, because quite honestly I can't remember what I've got. So every time I find some stuff, it's something of a surprise to me, going, oh, I'd forgotten I bought that, oh, I'd forgotten I bought that. So it's a good habit, I think, now and again, to just go through all of our little stashes and see what we've got. Anyway, have a wonderful April. Please keep popping back and see all my progress videos, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a wonderful Whatever time of the year it is for you, it's spring here and it is magnificent. Bye for now. Please subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications. Thank you for watching. Lovely to have you here. Bye for now.